Hi, in this session we will talk about NetWeaver Gateway Advanced Topics. This is the agenda that will be covering the authentication in SAP NetWeaver Gateway, then the authorization, and then how multiple backend systems are supported in the gateway and how routing works. So first of all, why is security necessary? So with the increasing use of distributed systems and the internet for managing the business data, the demands on security are also on the rise. So when using a distributed system, we need to be sure that our data and the processes support our business needs without allowing the unauthorized access to the critical information. So the user errors, negligence or attempted manipulation on our system should not result in loss of information or processing time. So these demands on security applies likewise to the SAP NetWeaver platform. So in this architecture we can see the overall security architecture. So first of all we have the consumer wherein we have the server side, that is the cloud. After that they are accessing the reverse proxy, that is my connectivity layer using the HTTPS. Then we have the SAP NetWeaver gateway, which is my consumption layer, and my reverse proxy will communicate with the gateway using the HTTPS protocol. Then lastly we have the business layer, in which we have our SAP business suite. So my SAP NetWeaver gateway, it will communicate with the SAP business suite, that is my business layer, using the RFC connection and the SNC. So the end user scenario, that is my HTML5, the desktop application, the mobile. Then we have the server to server communication, that is my cloud application, social network and the server side code. And any solution providing the secure access for the external consumers. So this is my top layer here. After that, the gateway's responsibilities here are to support the OData, then the authentication, then the protection of business function from potential attacks, that is externally originated. Then the gateway translates the OData request into the corresponding RFC. So here we can see that in this case our gateway is translating the OData request into the RFC. Then this is our security aspect. So besides using the standard authentication and authorization mechanism, SAP Gateway provides additional level of protection against the cross-site scripting and request forgery attacks, that is my XSS and CSRF. So the figure here is an example of the data flow for the request from a client application. For example, a PHP page that performs an OData call on the behalf of the user to an SAP ERP through SAP Gateway. So here we are taking an example of a call which is taking place from my client application to an SAP ERP using my SAP Gateway. So we can see here that this is my user agent, and it is trying to call this SAP ERP backend system. So we are having the SAP gateway in between. So now there are the different security aspects to be considered for the process step and the mechanisms which needs to be applied. So the first of all we have the user agent, which means the user authenticates to the web server using one of the supported options. After that this flow step is for consuming the SAP gateway. Then my client submits a business call to the server that in turn issues a request for SAP data that resides in an SAP backend system. So the security measure here is that the server generates a client certificate for the user in the context and signs it with a CA certificate. The generated certificate is a short-lived certificate valid for a limited period of time. So it can depend